Thanks.
That's right. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Ere the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So Mr. Rob Allen's going to read the bios of each one of these individuals we're honoring today. After he reads the bios, we're going to play a song. There might be some words before the song, but you listen to those words really hard, and then the song will take place. On some of the individuals, it's just the song. So please pay attention to these songs. 3 of these songs were written by Dave Gray. I don't know if you know who that is. Really big with the first responder world, veterans organizations. Played here last year. Scheduling conflicts and everything else. He wasn't able to come this year, but he is here in spirit, him and his wife and his 2 children. So we don't got Dave. We still got Dave. And we have these incredible fans here. Would have been here even if Dave was here. So we'll turn this over to Rob Allen.
How y'all doing? I got my old guy glasses on here. I'm humbled to be here. Humbled to be with all of you patrons, fellow service members, first responders, fire, police, EMS, EMT, even the 17-year-old patriot that God chose himself. First, I'm going to read a biography for Enrique Tate. Enrique was born in Barbados, September 20th, 1964. His mom and younger brother moved to Boston when he was in grade school, then moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida when he was in high school. He graduated Fort Lauderdale High in 1982, and upon graduation enlisted in the United States Navy. He served on submarines his entire 20-year career. His rank was quartermaster. He always plotted docks. He served on 5 different boats: the Henry Clay out of Holy Loch, Scotland, the San Francisco out of Honolulu, Hawaii, the Gennard out of San Diego, the Newport News, and the Hampton, both out of Norfolk. He retired from the Navy in 2002 and did what he always wanted to do. He became a police officer at Virginia Beach. Enrique worked out. He loved to work out. He competed in several bench press competitions over the years. He also loved photography. He was actually the unofficial team photographer for their daughter Courtney's all-star cheer team, Fame All-Stars. Forgive me if my hands start shaking. It's not easy to read. He loved more than anything in this world to watch Courtney compete. He was her biggest fan. He was also a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. We'll forgive him for that. Yeah. And a Miami Hurricanes fan as well. He was just a kind soul. He liked everyone he met. His laugh was contagious and mischievous. Those who knew him loved him and always had wonderful stories to tell about him. His wife Donna writes, "We were married just short of 25 years. We were married on December 11, 1985. We met through a mutual friend, and I fell for him immediately. The proudest moment in his life was when Courtney was born. He adored her more than I can put into words. Their birthdays are exactly 1 week apart. Hers, September 13th, 92, and his, September 20th, 1963. He had the patience of a saint and the kindest heart ever. I miss him every single day. He ended his life on October 17th, 2010.
Last call. When a person makes the decision to become an officer of the law, he or she is no longer a civilian like you and me. To uphold their title of police officer, they are forced to sacrifice and abandon certain rights that the average citizen holds dear. From that point on, they are sworn to serve and protect the good guys from the bad, and hold that ever so fragile piece of territory between peace and civil unrest, known as the thin blue line. As a law enforcement officer, their fundamental duty is to serve the community, to safeguard lives and property, to protect the innocent against deception, the weak against oppression or intimidation, and the peaceful against the violent or disorderly. They are also sworn to respect the constitutional rights of liberty, equality, and justice for all. Much like the military, they too swear an oath, and that oath, right hand raised, is called the Oath of Honor. Over the years, too many police officers have died to uphold that oath. They were mothers and fathers. They were daughters and sons, community leaders, coaches, and mentors. They didn't give their lives protecting their own personal families and belongings. They gave their lives by doing their job, protecting each and every one of us and holding that ever so precious thin blue line. When I first heard a last call for a fallen police officer going out over the airwaves, I was truly moved. To hear the quivering voice of a female dispatcher trying her best to hold it together practically brought me to tears. Each time she called the badge number of that officer that was killed in the line of duty, a deathly silence and almost tangible darkness blanketed the airwaves. You could literally feel its emptiness. The words to this next song were written in response to the calls of that heartbroken dispatcher. They were written to represent the final words of a fallen officer, giving his last request to his wife, to his children, and to his brothers and sisters in blue. As you listen to the song, I want you to remember that if that thin blue line should happen to fail, then the daily sacrifice and the eternal commitment of protecting yourself, your loved ones, and all that you hold dear will very, very quickly become your own. So respect the badge. This is Last Call.
Man down, I'm bleeding out. No time, so please hear me out. These are the last few words that I'd like to say to you all. This is my last call. Tell my wife I love her, and that I won't be home tonight. Thank her for those long long hard years that we tried to get it right. Tell her I'll be waiting after she makes it through it all. This is my last call. But ask her to forgive me. And tell her I'm sorry. That I can't be the man that she's gonna need. Tell her I'll be waiting where the winter meets the fall. This is my last call. Tell my children that I love them. Oh yeah, that daddy always loved them so. Tell them to hold their mother tight and to never let her go. Tell them I'll always be watching, looking over them through it all. This is my last call. Tell them to fight for me. Do what's right for me. Choose the light for me. But don't ever forget me. Tell them I'll always be watching, and I'll be there when they fall. This is my last call. For those who serve beside me, and who held that thin blue line, stand tall, stand strong, hold your head up high. I'm sorry I let you down today, but please know I gave my all. This is my last call. Raise your glass for me. Kick some ass for me. Ring a bell for me. Still straight to hell for me. I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save them all. This is my last call. Yeah, I'd like to think I saved a few good lives, but I couldn't save my own. This is my last call.
Wow. There's nothing else I can even say to that. This is a loss felt by the entire community. Whether we're war fighters, we're veterans, first responders, it's the same loss. It's the same risk, the same sacrifice. It is the same risk of our broken hearts. We're putting our hearts out there on the line. First responders come back. They come back from a bad scene. What do they do with it? Sometimes they do with that pain what we war fighters do. We come back, down a few, cry it out, and get back into the fight, because that's what they need us to do. We're not taking care of ourselves. Nothing but love and respect. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and read the biography for a fellow Army guy here. Oh! No disrespect to the Navy guy. My dad retired as Command Master Chief, so I'm pretty proud of that too. So, oh yeah. Remembering Frank Thomas Claude Jr., Flat Top. Frank T. Claude Jr., affectionately known as Flat Top, was born on November 14, 1958, in Norfolk, Virginia, to Frank T. Claude Sr. and Oressa Fenner Claude. His father, Frank Sr., retired from the U.S. Army and later worked as a warehouseman for Norfolk Navy Shipyard, while his mother, Oressa, was a devoted housewife to their 6 children, Darlene, Renee, Frank Jr., Eric, Randall, and Sabrina. In his younger days, Flat Top enjoyed going on fishing expeditions with his father and younger brothers, playing and watching football, and spending time with his cousins in Portland, Franklin, Virginia. After he graduated from Norview High School, where he played basketball and was on the track team, he proudly followed the footsteps of his father and joined the United States Army, where he served active duty for many years and retired as an Army reservist. While serving in the U.S. Army, Frank was later married and had 2 children, Dion and Ryan. Nailed it. Thank you. He later worked for the Tidewater Regional Transit Company, corrections officer at St. Bride's Correctional Center in Chesapeake, Virginia. In 1986, Frank proudly joined the City of Portsmouth Fire Department, where he worked as a firefighter and trainer for the department. I know a lot of Portsmouth firefighters. Frank retired from the Portsmouth Fire Department in 2011 after 25 years of dedicated service. Yeah. As an adult, Frank was a loyal Pittsburgh Steelers fan. That's what I'm talking about. He also continued the family tradition of fishing with his brothers and friends. He was an avid cook and enjoyed hosting gatherings for his friends and family. He also enjoyed gardening and was well known in the neighborhood for his immaculate manicured lawn. Squared away. Frank was a man of great character and was affectionately known for his kind heart, generosity, and friendliness. In fact, he made everyone around him feel important and valued. It was often said that Flat Top was a person that never met a stranger. Frank died at his home September 16, 2014, and was buried with military honors at Albert G. Horton Jr. Memorial Veterans Cemetery in Suffolk.
Put on the armor to battle the devil's flames. Into the fire I ran, chasing you back with all that I had, back to the hell from which you came. Man who went in, he never came back. But I never tried. The price that I paid for chasing the small town and fighting the flames. Was a battle I loved, and I'll do it all again. And that's why we run down to the fire, into the blaze, the smoke and ashes and the flames. 'Cause it might just be us that I'm trying to save. All the ones that you love from that fiery rain. So I put on the armor to battle the devil's flames. Into the fire I ran.
God bless Frank.
God bless you guys. Thank you for watching. I have one more biography I'm going to read. Before I do, I'm going to just kind of go off script here. There's a certain type of a person, all right? They're sheepdogs. A sheepdog can be a war fighter, can be a fireman, police, someone who runs in to do what the average person would run away from. Not all sheepdogs are grown-ups and wear uniforms. Some of them are kids. Some of them are in high school. Some of them are running fast and hard to make a difference in this world. The one thing everyone has in common, all these people that we're talking about, all these brothers and sisters that we lose, is one thing that we all have in common, and that is we strive to be the light in the darkness for other people. That comes at a price. We know it. We don't always escape from it. And in this young man's case, I really believe that he was called before he was born to be the light in the darkness for people. He was a sheepdog, just like we are. He absolutely deserves to be mentioned, deserves to be honored, and we should all strive to be like this young man, like the fallen that we have discussed. Last year, I want to share, in our community, last year, people that we knew in our community, we lost 29 people to suicide last year. That's a barrage of emails and phone calls and finding out, it seems every other week, that someone you know and love is gone. I don't know how we get through it, other than We look to the people to the left and right of us that are holding that light. We look up to God. We ask Him for strength. Surround us with His armor. That's the only way we're going to get through it. Don't be afraid of it. If that darkness grabs you, don't run from it. Don't cower from it. You aim your face and your eyes like a laser right through its eyes, and you fight it. You fight it. If you don't know how, we'll show you. Boy, Christopher Lynn Jr. Long before Christopher could form words into stories, he was an activist. He gravitated towards the weak, the quiet, and the lonely. He was the youngest of 4 children and the only boy. His love for helping others never took a backseat to his own personal interests. Although most always involved in some type of sport throughout his youth, such as football, basketball, soccer, karate, Krav Maga. He took as much time to care for those on the benches or sidelines. He would talk to them if they were alone or ask them about their day. Anything to distract from the loneliness of the moment. Asked if he could, would, or maybe clean his bathroom, oftentimes with a $50 bill attached to every request. Sometime during the year, he would without hesitation say, "Keep your money. I like it the way it is." Unbeknownst to many, there was a secret side to Christopher. After his funeral, a few ladies gathered just outside the church to share stories. One lady in particular was sharing about how Christopher called her grandma. Of course, he asked for permission first. And would on many occasions go ahead of her to the boys' restrooms to pick up the trash left on the floor and wipe down the counter.